Righto, Steve. Tell us what you think about all these prophecy um, teachers at the moment.
In the church, prophets in the church. Um, People wanting to go to prophet school. I want to be a prophet, like a little child. I had one guy that we were discipling and he went off the rails. He said, I'm going to prophet school. I want to be a prophet. And it's like a little child saying he wants to be a fireman or a policeman. God chooses those positions. It says the Spirit distributes these gifts severally as He wills. Not I want to be. It says earnestly desire the gift of prophecy. The gift of prophecy and the office of a prophet are two different things. The gift of prophecy is when the Spirit of God moves a man to speak about a certain situation. It might be to the church, it might be to an individual. That's the gift of prophecy. And the office of a prophet, he has angels assigned to him. It says the spirits of the prophet are subject to the prophet. There's angels assigned there, like there was with Moses. And when he spoke, they were there to make sure that they were fulfilled. That's a different thing again. Now, you've got a lot of people in the church going around saying, I'm a prophet. And, at its best, sometimes I think, the word of knowledge. They've got the word of knowledge happening, but that's about it. I wouldn't call them prophets. And lining people up as if God, the Spirit of God, turns up to entertain people. Line up everyone and get a word from the Lord. You see it everywhere. Get a word from the Lord. Like Derek Prince said, what is this? Some sort of New Age Christian fortune telling. We all line up and get our ears tickled. God doesn't do that. I know it's out of order because it's not the way God does things.
Yeah.
And so what are people doing? What spirit are they moving by? Because God doesn't turn up to entertain people. And, it goes on and on. Like when God turns up and speaks to somebody, it's direct and it's about a certain situation. Quite often it's a rebuke. Not always good. But these people are tickling people's ears. And a lot of the times I believe it's the spirit of divination entered the church. Necromancy, tickling people's ears, telling them all the good things they want to hear. It's not hard to do. You can go to the fortune teller and get the same thing. But God doesn't turn up to entertain us, to tickle our ears. When a prophecy goes forth, it's direct. I've called you to go and do something. Church, you're getting off track or whatever. It's not line up and get a word from the Lord. And we've got one on the tablelands here. She calls herself a prophetess. I've never met her. I've prayed about it. God showed me the situation. And she's in great danger. Because, you see, there was prophetesses in the Bible. Moses' mother was a prophetess. There was a couple of daughters of one of the people that Paul visited. And they were prophetesses, his daughters. 2 daughters were prophetesses. But it did not give him the preeminence to jump up and gain control of the church and say, now I'm in charge, and I'm in charge of men. Because that's out of order. How do I know she's not a prophetess? Because she's out of order. We're straightforward. But God showed me more than that. She's necromancing. She's tickling people's ears and calling herself a prophetess. Those prophetesses that Paul, when he was visiting that house, and they came to their father and they said, the Spirit of God has showed us something to tell this man. They didn't jump up and say, now we've got the preeminence. We're prophetesses. We've got the preeminence. We can jump up over men. Never happened. Never happened in Judaism. And it doesn't happen in the church. Paul's commanded that women should not be over men for a start. So I know it's out of order. They came to their father and they said, we've got a message for Paul from the Spirit of God. And the man said to Paul, let them speak. You see, it's not just jumping up and gaining the preeminence. They had to get permission to say what they had to say.
Yeah.
That is order. This woman on the tablelands is out of order. And I have a message for her too, from a prophet. If she keeps up what she's doing, she's out of order, she's necromancy, she's tickling people's ears. If she keeps it up and doesn't repent and stand down, she's going to end up in the same situation that the one that Paul spoke of. He called her a Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet. She's going to go to a sickbed and she'll never get up again. The same thing's going to happen to you if you don't repent and stand down and stop tickling people's ears and calling yourself a prophetess and trying to gain the preeminence through that. That's witchcraft. That's Jezebel. I'll give you the warning now.